All right. Welcome everyone to the Get Your Goddess Groove on radio. And we are joining our special guest today. and we'll get started here. Just one more moment. Let me just check and make sure we are live on Facebook here. And let me just double check that here. Getting used to all the technical stuff going on. Okay. And let's see. Take me in here. Oh, and maybe I'm there. Hang on one second. Let's see. Give me one second here and we'll get going. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. I had this set up and then it went away. All right. Um, and then where's the group? Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Oh well. We'll just go with it. We're gonna flow with it. All right. Here and here we go. Here we go. We are showing up live. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on the Get Your Goddess Groove on radio show. So it's been a few months now. Took a break from the radio show and started up now today with our beautiful guest, Kaiilama Morris. And so she's here with us. She is a beautiful breath expert, and I'm going to go ahead now and start with reading her bio for you so you can get to know her a little bit. And then we're going to jump right into our show today. So thank you for being with us on the Get Your Goddess Groove On show today. And I'm a little nervous today because this is my first producing my own show. So bear with me. Thank you for your patience. We will be taking your calls and your questions, and I do have the chat available that you can type those in as we're going along, and then we'll be sure to take those with you today. And again, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time being with us, welcome to the show, the Get Your Goddess Groove On show, where the goddess speaks, everyone listens. So we are all about the goddess here. And so now let me go ahead and introduce our beautiful speaker today. Um, Kaiilama Morris is a certified somatic breath practitioner with 20 years of experience in a private practice in Vermont. She is also a passionate life coach and intuitive guide, assisting people of all ages to remember, reconnect, realign, renew, and open to the deeper wisdom and truth of their sovereign divinity. She has taught nationally for over 10 years, and she also co taught empowerment and facilitator trainings with the Power of Breath Institute. Her vision is for each and every living being to live freely within abundance, joy, and peace with a profound, deep connection and knowing of their own sovereign divinity. So, welcome to the show today. And we are going to be talking about on our show today um, the hidden delights of breath, a key to opening our divine Christ consciousness introduction to somatic breath program that Kalima is going to share with us today. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And thank you for taking care of all those technical. aspects of creating this because I
You're
total compassion for that. good, good job, Laura. Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to be here and to talk about this essential tool that we all have, that we carry around within our physicality, that can allow us to, oh, so many things, reset our nervous system and process and integrate our emotions with everything that's going on for people with COVID and the recent happenings in Washington within the last couple of days and the election. I find this tool to be essential right now, absolutely essential. Um, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that the timing for your presentation today and what you're going to be sharing with us, and actually going to be sharing a process with us and answering questions for our audience today is really in quite divine timing. So hope you can feel into that with the guides that are here supporting us all through this very monumental and historical time here in the United States, but actually for the USA as well. So why don't we get started with, why don't you share a little bit more about your story, maybe how you got, started in working with the breath, and maybe even some of how this has been so, I know, powerful and transformative in your own life with us.
Oh, absolutely. So I got involved, or I went to my first introductory class almost 21 years ago. And at that point in my life, I had very young children. And my husband worked 16 hours a day, and I had a lot on my plate. I was working full time. I was caring for my young children. I was homeschooling, and I was just frazzled to the end of my last nerve every single day. And my marriage was really not doing well. And I just knew I needed some support, but I didn't know what. I tried talk therapy and just didn't find that to be the key for myself. So when I went to this first intro class, I think the most profound thing I experienced after the connected breathing session, and we'll talk a little bit about what I mean by that, was how much I felt um, so deeply relaxed in my physical body. I, at the end of the
Mhm.
breath session, I had no monkey mind activity, which was so shocking to me. And I almost didn't know what to do with that space of no thinking. But I knew that it felt good. And I remember just leaving that class, just feeling so uplifted and so joyful and so much more connected, not only to my heart, but my life. Because I was so wrapped up in all the details in my mind that I really couldn't be present in my life. Um, and that was just so refreshing. It was so refreshing that I remember getting home and thinking to myself, oh gosh, I just want to feel like this all the time, every day. And so I decided to go on and take some classes, some weekend classes with a woman named Judy Kravitz, who has an organization called the Transformational Breath Foundation. And those were just really powerful. And I look forward to them. And I also was like, yikes, I know I'm changing and it's kind of hard and fearful. But I knew that there was some part of me that knew that it was so important for me to continue to go and to continue to allow the shifts and the changes that were happening for me, which was so profound and so deep. I was really undoing a lot of my own belief structures, a lot of my own chronic thinking patterns, a lot of my own conditionings and ways that I had developed to just be in the world, to just survive every day. I was in those survival hormones, which were just running me. They were running my physical body, they were running my adrenals. I was in my sympathetic nervous system, I would say 100% of the time. So every weekend, I just felt better and better. And I started working with an individual, doing individual sessions, and that even brought it to a deeper level and a deeper journey of seeing my own self in a way I had never seen myself before, and creating more relaxation, more joy, and more ease.
Mm.
And it just made my life so much more full and rich. And I just felt like I was so much more present with my family. I was so much more present and grateful for every single breath, every single moment of my life.
Mm.
Yeah, so absolutely life changing for me. And even today in my life, I have a very profound situation, experience, journey that is happening with my granddaughter who was born in November. And she was born with something called congenital diaphragmatic hernia, and she is up to this point, she is 49 days old, and she has had three surgeries and many, many medical interventions. um, just like the one of the most powerful experiences emotionally that you can have in your life. And so many people have powerful experiences like this every day. um, and I have found the breath to be my best tool to go to focus my attention in my body, to consciously breathe and allow all the emotions that are there, because I'm a distance away from my family, and they're going through, my son and his wife are just going through every day having to make big decisions. And the breath has just been so helpful. Every day I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm grateful I have this tool. Thank you. Thank you so much, because I can go in, I can breathe, I can spend 15, 20, 30 minutes connecting my breath, moving my body, making sounds, allowing the tears to rise up, to move through me like a wave, an ocean wave. And then I can get on the phone with my family, with my son and his wife, and FaceTime with them. And I feel so cleared. I feel so present. I feel so able to listen and to hold the container of love for them, so that they can find their way and they can have their expressions. And isn't that what we all want for ourselves and for those that we love, that are our beloveds? I think
Absolutely.
so. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's an amazing story, and how wonderful that you have this beautiful, powerful tool. And as you're speaking, I can feel such power and such support and grace and love, because our breath is the spirit. That is our connection to spirit.
Yes.
And, I think that most of us probably don't breathe properly, or we're taught to breathe properly unless we're maybe a professional musician or athlete, or, I think we probably, unless we've been trained in how to breathe, it wasn't certainly something that I was taught when I was growing up. And, I think for many of us, probably for the modern lifestyle that we are in, we're very hurried, we're very busy people, or a lot of energy in our head. can actually lead to us becoming what I understand is called shallow breathing. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that and help us to understand how the breath can be a bridge to helping us to heal on many levels.
Absolutely. Yes. Do we take our first breath when we're a baby and we're born? We do. But in terms of finding a rhythm of breathing, we actually learn that from the people that are around us. So if your mother or father or sibling or whoever your caretaker was a very shallow breather, maybe they didn't breathe with their full breath system, then you will probably copy that same breathing pattern because this is how we learn. This is how we learn. So, what happens is that we develop breathing patterns. So, what a breathing? One of the breathing patterns is what you're referring to, which is shallow breathing. So, what does that really mean? Well, if you look at the whole, and I'll go into this in the class that I'm going to be teaching in February, beginning in February in more detail, but your full breath system is actually from above your pubic bone to the top of your nose. That's your whole breathing system. It's
Wow.
not just your lungs. And the diaphragm is your breathing organ. Now, I didn't before I went to an intro class, I didn't really hear much about the diaphragm that it was involved in breathing. The diaphragm is one of the most important organs in your body, and it's at the base of your skeletal structure. It is a soft tissue muscle. It's shaped like a parachute and it wraps around to the base of your spine. The bottom of your spine is your sacrum, which is a triangular bone. That's where your diaphragm is connected. Isn't that fascinating? So,
Wow.
to fully breathe, you have to be breathing from your lower belly. Now, I've had yoga teachers come to me that have been teaching yoga for 20 years, do not know how to breathe from their lower body, from their lower belly. Your whole pelvis is meant to move and rock very subtly and gently as you're breathing. Right? I have had musicians. I had a woman who was part of the Boston Conservatory who had so many challenges physically, emotionally, and mentally, but she could not breathe. She did not breathe in her lower belly. She was a flute player and she breathed in her upper chest. So she
Mm,
had to get all of that air initiated from lifting her chest muscles, exhausting. That is absolutely exhausting. When we have a muscle that is specifically designed to breathe and to support our breath, right? So, very important. And I think that one person that doesn't have some kind of a breathing pattern, except for little babies. That's the only time I many years ago, for many years, I did pregnancy and birth training for people to learn to use the breath in labor. And then at the end of that class, I would have the moms, after their babies were here, I would have the moms bring their babies and have the babies breathe with them in a whole and healthy breath on their bodies so that the baby could learn that rhythm. And then I would adjust the baby's breath.
wow.
Beautiful. Many babies would release their birth trauma. They would just cry and cry and cry and release their birth trauma. It was beautiful to watch. They would move their bodies and release the energy that built up from that process of coming through that very small canal. Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful. And it makes so much sense because we talk a lot about in, the world of transformation and healing the patterns, the mental patterns, the emotional patterns, the physical patterns that we inherited either through ancestry or, inherited while we even were in the womb, when we were in the womb with our mother and listening to our mother and her rhythms and her mental processes and her emotions and everything started to course through us. And, I mean, that's what quantum science talks about. I call it the osmosis effect, where we start to mimic, and we become the energy becomes entrained and ingrained within us, all of these patterns. So it makes total sense that our breathing and our way of breathing would also be, one of the many ways that we entrain the patterns of our parents, and that's probably been passed down from generation to generation, I would think. um,
Oh, I would take probably out of that sentence. It's definitely been translated. My sister and I, many years ago, went to a big weekend, and there were probably about 80 people there. And she was in one corner of the room, and I was in the other. And at the end of the breathing session, the main facilitator came up to us and said, because we were standing together, and she said, "Do you two know each other?" And we don't look like sisters. Um, and we looked at each other and said, "Yeah, we do." And so, why do you want to know that? And she said, "You have the exact same breathing pattern." Exactly.
wow.
That really made me laugh. And it really was such an affirmation of, oh my gosh, we really do learn from the people who are around us. Absolutely. The other benefit, the other really huge benefit, oh, there's so many of the breath, is as you are closing the pause, because that's what conscious breathing is, okay? We are closing the pause between our inhale and our exhale. So we're actually making a circle with our breath.
Hmm.
Why would we do that? What would be the purpose of making a circle? Well, if you close any system, okay, and you create an energetic field, you are going to be what? Accessing your wider energies, the energies that you are beyond your physicality. Now, we all have an energetic field around us. This has been proven. It was proven many years ago in the 70s by Kirlian photography. Now they can take even more defined photos of people's what is called quote unquote our aura. This is our energy field. And
Hmm.
as you are closing the pause between your inhale and your exhale, you are actually accessing that energy field. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza's work has proven that accessing that energy field, which is your computer, can change your life, can change your physicality, it can change your emotional self, it can change your pattern self. Really important aspect of the breath. Now, when I first started reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's work and his books, I was so curious because I thought to myself, the first thought that came to my head was, he has got to be using the breath. He has got to be engaging the breath, and of course he is. In all the meditations that he's created, and that is the reason, right? So, and also when we're connecting to that field, we are connecting to our divinity. We are connecting to the energies that we are as gods and goddesses, which is what the work is that you bring to people.
Absolutely. And I just want to touch on something you said that was really important, is that I experienced myself in creating meditations and participating in meditations for years, that um, the difference between really getting grounded into the breath before the meditation and not being grounded in the breath during the meditation. So it does make a huge difference. And I love that you brought that point up. You're touching on that. And so now maybe you could, maybe you could speak to, with all of these new light codes coming in, right? These higher frequencies, with light comes, information. Light is information and consciousness that we're bringing
Yeah.
in. And now, in my own work, we know that the goal is to become embodied, which to me means our spirit descending into our body, right? And
Yes,
along with that, we have to be the breath has to be part of that equation in there, right? To
absolutely.
So can you speak to that and help us to connect the dots? Because I know you talk about, accessing our and connecting to our divine sovereign selves and even the Christ consciousness energies.
Yes. So, where does the breath come in? Well, remember that breath is life. So, how we connect to the life source energy, okay, the divine energies, the divine love that we all are, comes in the doorway and into your body through your breath. There's no other way that it can't come in. It comes in through your breath. So you change your breath, and you're not only going to change your ability to integrate these light energies and the codings and the frequencies that come with these light energies, but you are going to be able to awaken your true connection to the divine love that you are, because that's an inside journey. That's a deep inner journey, right? So the more I opened the breath in my body, the more I began to understand, oh my goodness, I'm so much more than I believe myself to be. Intuitions woke up, wisdoms woke up. Yes, my meditations became deeper. I connected with my own inner guidance and wisdoms. I connected with my own guidance, my own guides, my own angels. Um, the energies and the frequencies of the ascended masters are the doorway to that is your breath, is your
Mm.
breath. So if you're shallowly breathing, or you're holding your breath, or you're stopping your breath, what you're really saying is, I'm afraid, or I'm I'm resistant, or I'm worried, or I don't really know how to live and embody my full Holy Spirit. That's a powerful journey, an absolute powerful journey. So let me tell you, I continue to take that journey in my life, and it continues to surprise me, absolutely surprised me. Like, oh my gosh, really? Wow. I mean, now I sit with clients, and the words that rise up, the wisdoms that rise up, those aren't coming from my mind. Those are coming from my connection to my divinity. They're coming from my connection to all that is, to
Mm.
all the knowledge that is available, all the frequencies and all the wisdoms of the ancestors are, and the ascended masters who have walked in our shoes are available to us all the time. The access point to that is the breath.
So when you're talking about that, that is really, really so amazing. And what I'm seeing visually that the guides are showing me as you were talking about that is that it's almost like, we think of the lungs as the main, and of course the lungs are the tools for the breath. But what I'm really seeing is the breathing through the crown chakra is opened up, like you're beginning to breathe within all of the chakra systems, and the breath is really being activated through the chakra systems. Not just the lungs, but all the way down the spine, coming down into the sacrum that you were talking about, and even with the womb work that I do, when we're doing the healing with the womb work, I'm working with the breath and bringing the breath down into the womb, down into the sacrum now. And so that's been it's been such a powerful experience. And so you're really tapping into and helping us to understand. But, you know, I don't know. What are your impressions about, opening up the crown and breathing through the chakras? Has that been your experience as well? And then that accessing the inner realms?
Absolutely. But the beginning journey is opening the root chakra and reconnecting ourselves to truth and safety. and wholeness. This is the place that most of us have shrunk ourselves down into unworthiness, into victimhood, and yes, we've closed the door of the room. And so that is where I always begin with everyone, because our deep traumas, our deep emotional energies, experiences where it was just too hard and too much, and we couldn't make any sense of it. We had to suppress it, hold on to it, and the beginning place is opening the breath in the lower body. Because if you start, and there are some breath forms that do start there, they start people breathing in their upper chest. Because what they're really looking for is that go to God experience, which don't we all want that? Don't we all want to understand who we are as divinity? Of course we do. However, what I have learned and seen is that is not grounded into your tree of life, into your physical body. You will have a very difficult time integrating the frequencies, codes, and information that come from going to God, going to the goddess, connecting to your divinity. And you'll have a very difficult time coming back into everyday life. And I see this with people over and over again.
Mm,
So that's
wow.
a really important piece. So if you begin in the root and you reconnect your root and you open the space there, you allow the breath to open the energies and the space, and you meet the suppressions, you meet the emotional energies. This is one of the reasons why the breath is such a powerful tool, and why it's important to have a guide, because that's really what I am. I'm a midwife of the breath. I'm a midwife of divinity, of connecting and embodying the Holy Spirit of ourselves. Right? So you get your root, your first, second, and third chakras opened and cleared, then it's going to be so much easier to move the breath up into your heart space and connect to your beautiful sacred heart, and then up the throat chakra into the pineal gland, and then into your crown.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's when people in breath sessions have incredible experiences, memories, past lives, information comes through, truth comes through, wisdom comes through. And I've been practicing this tool for 21 years of my life. And um, every single time it awakens another aspect of who I am as love. And that's endless, because love has no end.
Mm,
Love has no end. Isn't it a beautiful thought? You have no end. You are just endless because you are love. And
yes.
I've learned this through the doorway of the breath. And I absolutely know it is true within myself. And I invite everyone to allow themselves to connect to the truth and the wisdom that is important for them.
And yeah, I want to go back to a really key point that you made is that I think a lot of us who are, intuitives, healers, visionaries, and past creatives, whatever your word is, but, it's been really easy for us to connect, the upper chakras down through the heart chakra. But where I feel that we are challenged is really in the work that we are kind of on now. And this has been through my own work with the womb work, is to bring those energies down and to completely open the first, second, and third chakras up, because that is the connection to Mother Earth. That is the feminine, and that is the, heaven to earth, and joining heaven to earth. And so I know for myself, I've always been challenged to be grounded in the body because of all the traumas that happened. And
Yeah.
so I think it's so key what you're saying is to start at the root chakra and work your way up, because the root chakra is where we've got that connection into Mother Earth. We've got that connection into survival, right? It's all about the survival and the family and the tribe and,
Yep.
all of that together. And to me, a lot of it seems like with the external events that have happened, they seem to be focused around that root chakra, if you will, if you kind of look at the energies of the root chakra. So I love, love, love what you're saying about starting at the root chakra and learning how to really breathe properly in the root chakra, clearing the emotions, bringing that root chakra into balance. And of course, the adrenals that you mentioned. Oh my gosh, I have learned so much about the adrenals in the last year and how the adrenals are really very, very important to our physical health and especially to the digestive system. And how many of us have had digestive issues over the last several years?
Oh, definitely. Yep.
And, I learned so much about how, it starts, I believe, in the root chakra and the adrenals, where when perhaps when we're children, and if we had traumatic experiences or even just life, and if we weren't grounded in and we didn't know how to ground in and bring our spirit into where we were feeling safe and connected, and, we weren't taking those full in breaths, to keep us grounded, centered, and calm. So I love what you're saying about that.
Absolutely. The body, the physical body is an amazing, absolutely amazing, incredible container for our beautiful, holy, divine spirits. Now, one of the aspects of the breath system is right in the middle of your diaphragm is the biggest nerve in the body. It's called the vagal nerve. Now, what's important about the vagal nerve? Well, the vagal nerve goes through all of your major systems. It's like it has roots and it goes through all of your major systems. Big parts of it are in your intestinal tract, small and large intestines. It also goes up your spine and into the base of your brain, which is where your nervous system is. Fascinating, isn't that? So when you're consciously breathing because of where the vagal nerve is, you're actually stimulating the vagal nerve. Now, what is that going to do? That is going to shift you into a calm space and place. Because there's two aspects of the nervous system: the parasympathetic, that's when the body is relaxed and calm, and all the blood is going to all parts of your body, and you're in that kind of calm, peaceful place. I experienced that place for 40 years of my life until I stepped into connected breathing. I was always on the edge. I was always waiting for the next thing to happen. I was always in anxiety and fear about life. Was I going to have enough money? Was I going to get the work that I wanted? Was I going to be able to negotiate the lands of the relationships I was in? Was something bad going to happen to me? That's where I was. That's your sympathetic nervous system. And
Yes.
that's called fight or flight. And that's what you're talking about is adrenal stimulation. We live in a humanity that is constantly adrenal and sympathetic nervous system toned, stimulated in every moment. Now, with everything that we have going on in our society right now, in our humanity, with COVID, with the everything that's going on with the election, with everything that happened in Washington D.C., these are just a few things. Then people have their personal lives and deep things that are going on. Then they have their inner life, where their monkey mind is chatting all the time. This is sympathetic nervous system tone. Okay, so when we shift out of our sympathetic nervous system into our parasympathetic nervous system, one of the things that happens is that your adrenals turn off. And there's only two positions for your adrenals: they're either on or they're off. There's no middle ground, right?
Mm,
So the more I learned, the more I practiced connected conscious breathing, the more I learned what it felt like to be in my parasympathetic nervous system, the more my adrenals calmed down, the more my adrenals went into the off position. the more I was able to meet my life calmly, with clarity, and with inner wisdom, meeting every moment, not being in the future or picking up something from the past. Profound way to live. This
Oh,
is what I believe is true mastership of embodying our full Holy Spirit and being in the present moment. The breath is an awareness pump. It brings you into present time. So, a woman named Emma Sepler, who's a PhD in psychology, worked with veterans. And she decided one day to just ask them to breathe, just 2 minutes of breathing, just breathe. She didn't look at their breath. She didn't look at their, are you breathing in a full and open, healthy breath like I do? It's okay. She just asked them to breathe. Then she said to them, go home. And when you go into a PTSD experience where you have no idea where you are, you're just in the emotions, you're in the past, breathe. Now, these veterans, men and women, were coming back to her and saying, why does that help? That helps me. That helps me tremendously. Why does that help? And this is the education I have allowed myself to receive, and I continue to receive, why that helps. And that's what we'll be covering more in depth in the class that I'll be offering through the Goddess community in February.
wonderful. And that, let's just do that now and share a little bit about the wonderful class that you're going to be teaching inside the Get Your Goddess Groove On community. And I love the name of this. So it's Hidden Delight Level 1, and it's breath, a key to opening to our divine Christ consciousness, introduction to somatic breath. And wow, I can feel the energy moving through this class. And it's going to be so powerful and so needed at this time. I think so many of us could really benefit truly from this powerful work that you're bringing through to us. So why don't you share with us a little bit more about what's going to be taught in the class, and what are going to be the benefits of the class, and all of that for us.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll do an 8 week class, an eight class series. It will be every other week. So you'll have time in between to really practice and be with the breath. We'll be going through the physiology of the breath. What is the actual physical aspects of your breathing system? Every single class will do a guided breath awareness, either an exercise or we'll actually go into a full conscious connected breath. After the classes, there'll be practices to enliven during the times when we're not together. I will offer PDF documents that will give you more in-depth information. I have a reading list, a bibliography I will offer to people. Of course, you choose what you have time for and what you have interest in. We'll go through the mind patterns and the breath and meeting the monkey mind. And how does the breath help us to calm our monkey mind down? And to let that white noise that's always in the background go to a place where it can calm down and we can have peace and quiet. Oh boy, that's lovely. Peace and
Mm,
quiet.
yes.
uh, yeah. What else? We'll talk more about the vagal nerve and the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. And what is that? And how do we really allow our nervous system to balance fully and completely? And of course, do I go into my sympathetic nervous system sometimes? Yeah, if I've got an experience that's going on in my life, like the day my grandchild was born, and she was born at 31 weeks. Yeah, did I have that experience in the middle of the night? And what did I do? I breathed. I breathed. I had my phone by me, I had it on, but I was breathing. I was going to a deep meditative space. I was connecting to the deeper levels of my divinity. And it was so calming and so soothing, and it allowed me to be with with the experience instead of being in my fear. Yeah. What
Mm,
else? We'll talk about innate emotional intelligence, what that is. We use toning and movement in this work. So I'll be talking about that. What is toning? What is movement? Why is it beneficial and helpful? And how do you really engage and create relationship with your emotional body? And what are emotions really? I have really spent a good deal of time in my life studying this. We will awaken the sacred heart. Really, absolutely important journey for
yes,
everyone. Absolutely important.
absolutely.
Yeah, it is the key connection to allowing your divinity and your Christ consciousness is your sacred heart.
Absolutely. And this is
Yeah,
such a
so
divine
that's a
timing.
brief that's a brief overview of some of the things that we'll be visiting in each class. Each class will be an hour and a half long, and it'll probably be through some platform like Zoom or Vimo. I haven't quite made that decision yet. Um,
Okay, but there will be live
yeah,
classes with you on
yes,
online that you'll
yes,
be teaching.
yes.
Wonderful.
And
And
I will record the classes, and they'll be available while you're in the program. If you know, have for some reason have to miss the class, they'll be available to you to be with. Or if you want to go back to a particular class while we're in the program, they'll be made available to you. Yes.
beautiful. And when are you going to start the class in February?
Yeah, I plan to start on Wednesday, February 17th. And then we'll do every 2 weeks after that,
Okay.
Wednesday evenings from, I think I said 7 to 8:30.
7 to
So
8:30 and
yeah, it's
okay.
before, after dinner, and before, I would say people will get ready for a nighttime um, ritual or practice. Yeah.
Okay. And these will be recorded. So if we do have people that are maybe, in Europe, these classes
Yes.
will be recorded for them because that would be
Yes.
rather late for
Yes.
them. But, some
Yes.
people may want to attend.
Yes, and
Beautiful.
there will be, email availability, access to me while you're in the class for any questions or things that show up. I will also offer within the class a 1 hour coaching, intuitive coaching session, which of course will also include the breath. I will
Beautiful.
offer that to every participant.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that feels like a really rich, empowering, and powerful class, especially for this year. And this year, 2021, being the year of massive change and
Yeah.
disclosure
Yeah.
coming into the planet. And like you were talking about, all the challenges that we are all, facing, with changes in governments and financial system and healthcare systems, and then our own
Mm-hmm.
personal challenges. I am
Absolutely.
just so grateful to you that you are stepping forward. And to help us to reconnect with our own inner goddess in this way, to connect with our inner goddess, our inner spirit, our inner soul, and to help us to really bring forth, so much, healing and transformation in this way. So I know you wanted to share a process with us. So why don't we go ahead now, if you
Yeah.
feel ready, and share this process with us. And then after that, we'll take some questions from some of the people who are here with us.
Okay, beautiful. All right, the first thing I would like you to do is just close your eyes gently and just notice your breath. Just notice your breath. See if you can bring all the focus of your attention to your inhale. Just notice how your inhale feels. See if you can notice the movement that happens in the body as you're inhaling. The inhale is remember your divine self, your connection to divine love, to all that is. Just noticing your inhale. Now see if you can just be and allow the inhale to come into your body a little bit more of a fuller capacity. Deeper breath is coming into your body now. Don't worry so much about where you're breathing from or if you're doing it right. Just allowing more capacity in your breath, in your inhale, a fuller inhale. One right after the other now. We're going to close the pause between the inhale and the exhale. So you're allowing a fuller inhale. Now the inhale is just going to flow right into your exhale. And you're going to let your exhale just drop out. Just nice and gentle. Return, the exhale returns to the inhale. Just like a figure 8. You're expanding your capacity to inhale. And you're just relaxing your exhale. So as it gets to the top, you're letting it drop. Just like a waterfall, and into the next breath. One breath after the other. One breath after the other. You might begin to feel a little more relaxed in your body. Expanding your inhale's capacity. Letting go. Expanding your inhale's capacity. Letting go. Good. Now bring the breath all the way up to your shoulders. Bring your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. And then let go. Good. Again, fullest inhale you can do. All the way up. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. And let go. And again, inhale, fullest capacity of your inhale. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and let go. Good. Good. Now that's a couple of minutes of breathing. All right. This morning, as I was sitting in my meditation, I have these words come through about the breath. So I'd like to read that. And then Laura and I will do a closing. Are we okay on time, Laura, for me to read this?
Yes.
Yes.
We're good.
Okay. Okay. You just try to stay in that quiet space within yourself if you want to have your eyes closed while I read this, and just allow yourself to just feel your breath breathing you. Our breath is a vehicle to open the pathways of our true selves, an interdimensional portal to the many aspects of our light bodies. Allowing our full divinity is the invitation to become fully aware of all that we are, absolute, power-filled, connected to all and every being, caretakers of the way, expanders of the divine mother, father, child, triune, complete, married, creating, expanding, living, being through and in the divine mother, father, God. Learn to breathe deeply, freely, openly, vibrating the light of your being in every cell, awakening your sacred heart into full blossoming. This is the invitation of the conscious, connected breath.
Wow. Wow. That is just, wow. That was powerful. Absolutely powerful. Could feel that so deeply. And, you know, bringing in the Sacred Heart and breathing through the Sacred Heart, because it's time now to reconnect with Mother Divine and Divine Father in new ways, right? And this is truly
Absolutely.
our journey of
Yes.
enlightenment to reconnect to, and it is through the power of the breath, absolutely. And I've been seeing for a while now that I think eventually we will all maybe become breatharians, I guess, or something like that, that eventually we won't need, you know, food, we won't be living on so much dense food, and maybe, this will be a transition to that. So, wow, what a powerful, powerful call today. And I'm just going to stop here and read a few comments. And if anyone has any comments or questions
Yeah.
for Kaiilama, please type those into the chat here, and we're glad to take your questions and your comments. And I do have on the Facebook post here, LaShorn said she is so right about opening the lower chakras first to ascend and the breath is powerful, as is meditation. So LaShorn, thank you for that. LaShorn and I are friends. She's a master Reiki teacher. And LaShorn also did ask about the class and the course that you're offering, and I will post the link below this video. And this video will be eventually uploaded to YouTube, and I'll post the link to the Get Your Goddess Groove On community, which is um, free to join. And also, we'll have the link to join Kalama's class, all about breath. This beautiful class is starting in February, and we'll post that as well, so you can learn more information about that. And I think we're offering either a single pay or a 4 months, 4 months, a monthly subscription of 4 months if you need to divide up the payments into monthly payments for your budget. Or you can do a single pay and receive, I think it's a $50 discount. So really, really very generous offering here. And of course, that includes these wonderful classes and then also a personal hour session as well. So, what else would you like to add before we close today?
Just gratitude, appreciation for you, Laura, and for this circle of love that you have created for people to connect to and to receive opportunities to continue to take their journey of their life, supported through the power in the doorway of love. Um, when I was a young child, about 4 or 5 years old, I remember asking the question, "What is love?" And I really feel that this journey of the breath has connected me more to the deeper, true wisdom of who I am as love and who every being, every living being is as love. And I see that we will live and can live in a very different way as humans and as a community of beings in harmony with all life. That is a potential and a possibility and an absolute um, ex- needed journey. And the breath has been the wings beneath my love
Mm,
that continue to enliven my life. So I Thank you. I feel so grateful and so honored to be on this call today. And thank you to those who showed up live and for the people who will choose to listen to this wherever you post it.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for being our beautiful guest speaker today and bringing forth this beautiful offering, beautiful wisdom today, such deep, important, I just keep coming back to divine timing. The guides keep bringing me back to this, that this is going to be so powerful for those who would like to take this journey of the breath and begin to really lift up their wings of love into our ascended and descended, divine beings of love. That we all came here to be and to live life fully and abundantly and to bring in those bright blessings and to bring in the abundance. And the breath is surely that powerful connection for us to our spirit, to our soul light, and that
Mm.
beautiful connection to the divine Christ consciousness that we're here to live and to be in this world. So thank you all
And to
so much.
remember.
And to remember, absolutely remember and awaken to all
Yeah.
of that. And so important that
Yeah.
we you know walk, I think, into this. We're being invited into this higher realm of being and new mastery, and the breath is definitely part of that. So
Absolutely.
I want to take a moment to thank everyone who joined us today for, our first episode of Get Your Goddess Groove On in 2021. And thank you all for joining us. And please come back and join us next Friday. I will have another guest speaker next week. And join us every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific, or 5 p.m. London. And invite you to join our Get Your Goddess Groove On community, where we have this beautiful, beautiful private sanctuary that we're creating, a circle of love to empower you and to begin to connect with your own inner goddess self and begin to allow her to rise up into your authentic space. So,
Mm.
thank you so much. And we'll end on this note. So, sending lots of love and blessings to everyone out there. Be well, be safe, and please consider this beautiful course and class for your own self nurturing. So, I feel this is very important for self nurturing and taking care of yourself in 2021 so that you can bring forward your best life. All right. Thank you, everyone. Signing off for now. Until next time. Take care. Bye bye.